Hello, everybody.
Hello.
We are live, and welcome to this presentation today. I just have to give you some links. Today, I have once again invited my dear wife, Karianne, to this live session because we have a very intimate relation with the seven energies, and we use them all the time when we between us, and when we look at Krim in the TV, we put types and energies on everybody around us, and it's in some way it's a very fun game. But today, what I would like to present together with Karianne is that you get an experience of the seven energies within you, because we all have this rainbow of energies within, and some of the energies are dominant within us, and some of them is weaker, and we need to develop them. So.
If you're here live with us, or if you listen to the recording afterwards, we would love if you say hi, and please tell us where you are. If you're in Norway, Denmark, or the States, wherever you are, that would be a lot of fun to know. We are in Oslo.
Yes, it will also be good to hear from you during the session if you recognize some of the energies in you, because perhaps we should clarify what this type of psychology is, because energy psychology, or psychoenergetic, was the name that Assagioli called this, and we also talk about it with the title The Seven Types, because it's seven types of energy. And it's the new psychology when we talk about energies, because there has already been thought other psychologies: behaviorism, psychoanalytic, humanistic psychology, and the transpersonal psychology. So this type of psychology, learning to see the energies that we all radiate, is the fifth force within the psychology.
And if you're going to go through these seven different energies today, is that right?
Yes.
So maybe if you're listening, that you can always, what Kenneth will talk about. So when he goes through the seven different types, feel into, so where am I? When it comes to this type, am I strong on this type? Maybe I haven't developed it at all, because ideally, we want to have all these different seven types within us, or talents, or qualities, whatever you want to call them. And sometimes, of course, we have some of them we have developed a lot. For example, we grew up in a culture or family culture that really nurtured this quality, and sometimes it's absolutely
far away.
Yeah, far away. And sometimes also, what is your least, what you call it, least developed qualities? That's like your opposite, and it can be so important.
Yes, to know it. So the first thing I would like to say before we enter into the discussion of the energies is that these energies, or type of energies, they play out on 5 different levels. So normally when we speak about typology, Enneagram, Jung's type, or other typologies, very often they only describe the personality level. But this typology, the 7 types, they work with 5 different levels. So your body is a particular type, it radiates a particular energy, and we can see the body type through its appearance if we know the language. And we also have different emotions, different temperaments. We communicate and think differently, and then we have the overall impressions of our personality type. And the last type we have is the soul type, the way we seek meaning. But in this broadcast, we will only speak about the 7 energies in a general way. We will not go in and specify them, because that's actually a lifelong study. So,
Yeah, no, sorry.
yeah, so we would just want to give you a feel about these energies so you can feel into the qualities yourself and perhaps get an impression of where are you strong and where are you weak, so you can get this estimation and perhaps know what you want to strengthen.
I just want to add, because what we talked about, Kenneth, is that we can be types on 5 different levels. The way we think is a type, the way our personality, the way our soul, etc. So this is why you also feel like, but this is me, and then you listen to the other one, but this is me, and this is me, and you get confused. Why am I not one type? Because you're not one type, you're several types.
Yeah.
And I also want to add, because you've written, just recently published a book called The 7 Types. So Kenneth has the link to, I can see he has lots and lots of links here, but one of them is to his book. So if this is something you want to learn, you can always buy the book through one of these links.
Exactly. And of course, we should be able to connect with all the 7 energies because they are very essential and they are necessary in order to live a harmonious life. And they are also related to 7 psychological functions. And we all have 7 psychological functions that is connected with each of the energies. So we all have an access to it, but they are not equally developed in us. So what Kariani also told was that we are not just a type, we are a combination of types. So it's much more difficult to fall into the bad habit of labeling people and yourself if you're using the 7 type as your tool for understanding yourself and others. Because we are a combination of types. That's a very important thing.
Yes, so shall we dive in?
Yes. So the first energy we would like to explore is the dynamic energy. And the dynamic energy is very full of power, it's full of will. And whenever you really are courageous about something, when you in some way take charge of who you are and you develop your authority and you use your discipline and you push yourself, there's a big yeah, it's very likely that this is the will that you is experiencing, because the will is the power in us, the power of being who we are. And perhaps when you think about the will, perhaps think of a situation where you have challenging yourself, where you have been forced to stand up for yourself and in some way define your character and setting out boundaries. Very often the will is activated in these situations. Do you recognize the will?
Yeah, so when you say the will and you talk about this first type, so could you say that this is your inner leader in a way?
Exactly. The will, people who have developed will very often become leaders. They become, people who are in charge because they are not afraid of standing alone and stepping up and take responsibility for some task. And of course, there is the good will qualities with a good leader. And of course, the will can also be applied very destructively. And then you have the bully and the person who just crushes opposition and is very egoistic.
Yeah, and I guess like that we can have this in one area in life, and in other area we can completely lack it. And sometimes it's one area in your life you maybe need to develop this more.
Yeah.
And maybe there's another area where you maybe have to learn to let go of it more.
Exactly. I think that's a really important distinguish because if you have a leader position, then very often you are forced into a position or a role in life where you have to step up. It's part of the role at your job. But then you come home to your family, and perhaps you change your role there and become much more sensitive. So it's also about the roles we have in life and how they force us to bring out different qualities. So that's an important differentiation.
And I think maybe for women, sometimes it's like in their mother role, for example, like we need to develop this quality, and sometimes it's like taking a leadership role in our job.
Yeah.
So it can be in so many areas.
Yeah. So if you connect with your inner will, you will really feel it as the will to be you. You know, it's a force. It's very unemotional. It's a power in you. You just decide this I'm going to do. So it's some way it's it's unemotional, and it's just a very naked force, the force to be you. So that's one of the dynamic energy, the energies of will and power is the red part of the rainbow. And we all need will in order to achieve in life. And I can say I have a lot of will in my dominant types. I have a will on the mental level, and also will in my as my body type. Then we come to the most sensitive energies. The energy is full of
the second type, right?
Yes.
So this is number 2.
Yes, and the sensitive energies is very much related to the psychological function of feeling. So whenever we experience the sensitive types, then we are much open. We are into relationships. We want to connect. We want to be calm. We want to experience love and sensitivity. So the love energy and the sensitive energy give us the possibility of understanding something through our feeling of felt experience. It's our ability for empathy, for really tuning into the surroundings and be sensitive to what's going on inside of us, but also in other people, and just feel connected. So this is a totally different type of energy. We become soft, we become open, we become receptive whenever we are under influence by that energy.
So if you're a very highly sensitive person, would you say that you have a lot of this quality? Or?
Exactly. You become very sometimes hypersensitive when you are under influence of this energy, and you also get very vulnerable because you are so open and receptive to whatever is impacting you. But it also creates a lot of insight. You know, the sensitive energy gives you an ability to understand psychologically what's going on within you and in your surroundings. It's like an inner eye opening within you, so you can perceive what's going on below the surface. You have this ability to really tune into to people and feel if they are okay, and feel their temperament. So you have very, very strong antennas, so you can really tune into the surroundings. And you have a lot of sensitive energies.
I have a lot of it, and I guess for me it's been a journey to claim that energy, especially because it's like you say, it's extremely sensitive. So, and sometimes you feel a little bit like the princess on the pea, isn't that the way? And I guess for me it's been also a journey of having shame related to being to having this being so highly sensitive, but then it's a journey to really reclaim that and accept it, and also sometimes, you know, in your life you have to adapt your life to that.
You could say what's come out of it is that you have worked a lot with astrology and female psychology. So in some way, when we have that sensitivity, we are forced to understand what's going on. We in some way become introverted and explore the inner dimensions because we are in some way, we're forced to it because we are that sensitive. So we have to understand what's going on.
And I guess for you to be in a relationship with someone who has a lot of this second type, that you maybe always feel seen, because for this type, it's easy to pick up the other person's atmosphere.
Exactly.
If you pretend, if you're sad or angry and you pretend like you're not, I can, is it something going on here? Or,
yeah. So if you are in a relation with a sensitive person, this sensitive type, it's very, very different than the dynamic type. Well, the dynamic type can be very challenging and very confronting. Then the sensitive type, it's very different, the energy field. They are much more listening and much more careful in how they phrase their words. So it's a totally different experience.
I guess so far, if you're listening, do you recognize the first one or the second one the most? What about you, Kenneth?
I guess I have the sensitive energies in my soul.
Yeah.
This is my soul type, so I definitely recognize that too. So I can relate to both of them as strong energies. The third energy we would like to explore is more the mental energy. It's the mental type, and now we are into an energy that is extremely intelligent and adaptable. You have these busy types, people who are all over the place, and they are so curious. They just love to read about things and explore the physical world and get things done. So they are very adaptable to the physical world. You very often see them in business life. You see them into journalism and everywhere where there is some information that needs to be distributed. So these types of people, they are just the bees of the world, or the ants. They really are busy most of the time with everything going on. And there is a restlessness in the energy. They are not the calm types, and they are not very dynamic. They are very restless, and they like to, do many things at the same time or have many small projects. So this is a very, very different type. Do you recognize that?
I recognize that for my childhood. I guess I grew up with parents that have a lot of this type, and I guess that if you listen here and you have some of this type, that it's important for you to also have these meetings with different people. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to sit down in 4 hours and share all your deepest feelings with each other, but you need this exchange of energy and this movement. Like if you're still too much, it's like you get energy from all these different meetings with different people, little input you need. Maybe you have, you can spread your energy, but you also need it to get inspiration.
Yeah. So if you have this quality, you will be very curious, and you need a lot of different things happening each day. Speaking with people, being connected with people, and just feeling that you are in a network of people and are related, not related as the sensitive types where you really feel in, but much more, share information and share things of what is going on in your life. So they always have a very good broad knowledge about their culture and the surroundings they are in, because they are very curious.
As an astrologer, I think about Gemini, the sign Gemini, when you speak about this third type.
Yes. So it will be natural for you to be very restless if you have this rainbow, this color, the yellow color within you. We have applied some of the colors: red for the will or dynamic type, blue for the sensitive type, and yellow for the mental type. The next quality we will explore is the creative energy.
That's the fourth.
This is the fourth type, yes. And the creative energy is related to the psychological function of imagination. So this is very colorful people, you know. This is very emotional people. They like to go with the flow. They like to have fun. They like to experience harmony and beauty. And it's also called harmony through conflict, because this is the people who really who can take a conflict, because they cannot live without harmony. So they know they sometimes have to create a conflict in order to actually have harmony.
And this is your inner artist in a way as well,
yes,
you say? Or?
Exactly. Yeah. It's the inner artist. And if you have this quality, you will be very tuned into spontaneity, you know, go with the flow, have fun in the moment, and what you really also want to explore is to have a deep relation with people, you know, have a harmonic interchange, you know, exploration, because you will be very, very curious about what's below the surface.
And I guess sometimes if you have a strong, this fourth personality type, what do you call it, Kenneth?
The creative type.
Yeah, the creative type. I guess for you, it can be very hard to find out which type you are. Because when you are this personality type, you experiment with all these different types of personality. Yes. And maybe you like to dress, you know, very different. One day you dress very straight, very masculine, and the other day you're a complete like bohemian. So you play with these different personality types within yourself. Exactly. And you also like a lot of contrast. Isn't that also what sort of sparks you? And when there's passion and there's this strong emotion, this is what makes you feel alive.
This is really important, because the creative type is the most polarized. You know, you can experience big mood swings every day. You know, you wake up very happy, and then 2 hours later you are feeling miserable, and then a dear friend of you call, and then you get excited again, or you listen to music. You will really be happy. You know, you will really need color. You would need music. You would need to have beauty around you and harmony. And there are so many sources for this. So if you have a very strong creative type in you, it's very important to have a big heart for your contrast, because this is actually what brings color to life. That you have this access to all the different polarities within. Of course, you need to balance it, but you are here to bring beauty and the newness into life through this creativity. Yes.
Yes.
And now to the fifth energy and fifth type, and it's the analytical energy. It's related to the psychological function of logic. And the analytical energies makes us very serious, very fact-oriented. You know, when you are influenced by this energy, you really know what is truth. You need to know how to do things, how the world is functioning. It's also sometimes called the scientific type, or this more scientific energies. So it's something that you're really drawn to understand how things work, so you can apply it again and again. And perhaps you fix your car, or you fix your house, or you are into research. And you could also think of people working within the police force, you know, finding who is the criminal, and you know, and are really fact-finding. But logic is something we all need to develop in order to function in life, you know. So when we are influenced by this, we become very a little cold, a little reserved, a little critical, because we want to have things right in a way.
I would say that if you have a lot of this type, that you're also probably very intelligent, you're sharp, and you probably had good grades in math when you grew up. Wouldn't you agree on that?
Yes, exactly. When I remember, you know, growing up with people who had this energy, they were the people, you know, they just have to split things off, you know, if they got a new lamp or a new tool, then they have to bring all the parts from each other so they saw how it functions and then bring it together. So they are very analytical in the way they function. So you want an analytical type if you are going to have a heart surgery. You don't want a creative type in this situation.
And I guess to have a little bit of this type, this is also the type that makes sure you don't get fooled by people, because you're so sharp and you can really, you know, you don't get swept away by emotion. You don't get impressed so easily because you also always check the facts.
Yes.
So I think it's a really good resource to have some of this type.
Yes, exactly. And then we have the sixth energy, or the dedicated type, or the dedicated energy, and also it's also called the devotional energies, or the devotional type. And I have a lot of the sixth energy, you know, and these type of the people who are very influenced by this type of energy, they become very dedicated, very enthusiastic. They very often they are into sales. This is the salesperson, or perhaps they are selling a political message or religious message, or they're just into sport. You know, they in some way they thrive when they are enthusiastic by something, and they have the ability to go after ideals. You know, they want to be part of the best, or the best could also be what's good. The best philosophy or the best policy. So they are very fiery and devotional, and sometimes a bit fanatic about, it could be fanatic about health or fanatic about beauty. So if you have a very passionate nature and you create, you know, a lot of emotional energy around you, you will have a good access to this, because the psychological function is actually passion or desire that's behind this energy.
When you think about that, I think about that type of person who sells a product, and this person is convinced that this is the absolutely best product, and when you listen to it, you sort of believe that yourself.
Yes.
So it's like, this is the absolute best water, because so you can't get, you know, the best water. But also, Kenneth, like, I think people who have a strong of this dedicated energy, that it can also be people who are very dedicated to a spiritual direction.
Exactly.
And if you grew up, for example, in a community where there was some religious community or spiritual community, there was a very strong devotion.
Yeah.
So this is like what you got in with your milk, in a way.
Exactly. But many people will know this energy is very normal, you know, and many people have bring this energy out in their love relationship. It could be love to their children, or love to their dear ones, you know. So they, in some way, they become very devoted, and the backside of it is that they sometimes put people up on a pedestal, and but we need this energy because it's what motivates us. It creates a lot of focused energy, so we can solve the things, and it gives a lot of loyalty to ideals. You know, you can really count on a person with a strong, dedicated energy.
I guess when you have this energy, you feel that you have a meaning, and you feel you have like a direction and a purpose in life.
Yeah.
Is that true, Kenneth?
Exactly. The people who have a lot of this energy is the true believers of this world, and it's just important to see that the energy can be challenged towards any object of adoration or devotion. So, but if this is you, you have a strong energy of this color, then you will experience strong emotions, strong passions within different areas of your life. And this brings us to the last energy, the seventh. And this is the practical energies or the organizational energies. And this is a very, very different type. It looks a little bit like the dynamic energy, the first type we described, but this type is pretty oriented toward manifestations. They really know how to create systems and organizations. You know, they are the people who invite to a big party, and they organize that everybody brings the best food, and so they are always very. It's easy for them to take responsibility, to say, okay, let's do it, and then organize a lot of activity around a project, so it's getting realized. So it's very often people who really like control. So if this energy is in you, you like to really be in control, you know, and it seems in the way you dress, you will be very behaved, you know, control your body, stand straight up, and in some way have this quality of efficiency. When this quality is dominant in you, you will be perceived as a very reliable person, because it seems like you just know what to do in order to get the things done. So you have this ability to really discipline yourself and be very methodic, you know, using steps in order to achieve your goals.
And I guess the benefit of having some of this type is that you become more organized, you become more structured.
Yeah.
And so if you have a lot of passion, a lot of ideas, you have a lot of creativity, but sometimes, you know, in order to manifest something, sometimes we need to you know, choose a way. You know, if you have 10 creative ideas, maybe you have to choose 1 or 2.
Exactly.
And you can organize yourself. So this is also what helps you to manifest. Because in some of the other types, like the previous types you talked about, I guess you will have so much passion and so much idealism.
Yeah.
But this is like the type you would also need to have concrete results. Would you say that?
They are really efficient because they don't want to waste their energy. So they will be also very rational about what they enter, you know, and measure if it's possible to do. And so you don't waste your energies if you collaborate with such a person, but it's something that you need to develop yourself in order to really be an integrated person. You need these practical energies and organize in order to organize your life, and organize your resources, and bring everything you have within out into a focus, so you can really have something beautiful to offer. So the practical type is actually very related to the psychological function of action, and action is really related to the body's function of sensation and action. So they are pretty much very willful on the physical plane. They get things done.
And sometimes I experience them as quite elegant, like the way
Yes.
they dress and move and carry
Yes.
themselves.
Exactly, they are really elegant because they have this sense of balance. You know, they don't want to go to extreme, and they like to give the impression as being very in control. So perhaps you can recognize this energy inside of you. And remember, we have all these 7 energies within. They are the psychological qualities that is alive within, but we haven't developed them equally because each of the qualities are related to a psychological function. And some of us has developed imagination more than will, and if we develop a psychological function, we get more of these qualities.
Yeah, and I guess if this is new for you, I guess it's a lot to take in
Exactly.
the first time. And Kenneth, you have worked with this for many, many years. You've just written a new book
Yes.
called The 7 Types. And so if you want to study this more, you want to recognize your type, your partner's type, your children's type,
Yes.
this is possible to study through your book. But if you're familiar with it, maybe it's maybe you have a sense already that some of them you feel more friends that you're more home with.
I can say that if you like, you can buy the book on Amazon and there have the opportunity to really go into depth and finding out what is your 5 dominant type yourself on the physical, emotional, mental, personality, and soul level. And we have also designed a personality test, and you will find that also in the link. So if you would like to find out what is my personality type, please check out the link, and we have a very professional tool that we have worked with for 7 years, and it's quite reliable. So we will also invite you to perhaps take a step in that direction.
Yes.
Yes. I hope you enjoyed this Facebook Live, and we will return again later with new updates around this topic. So
maybe if you're listening, if you follow this, if you have any wishes for us around these topics to talk about,
yes.
like what type of relationship these different would be most suitable for you, or etc.
I will also be here, so if you have any questions related to this, just reply in the comment field, and I will get back to you. And this also counts if you look at this Facebook Live afterwards. Just write your replies, and I will get back to you. And I have so much, articles and videos about this topic, so perhaps I have something, you would like to study in depth. So just returned here. And it would be nice to hear if you could recognize some of these energies.
And maybe you can write down the one you resonated most with.
Yes.
And maybe it changes, the next time you listen to it. But just like spontaneously, which one did you feel like most resonated with you today?
So thank you for today, and have an awesome day.
Bye.
Bye.